I bought a brand new Harley motorcycle from the dealership, a Softail, and honestly, it was one of the biggest bike mistakes I've ever made. But if we remove the buying experience out of the equation, when you compare the Vespa, I have the GTS 300 Super, when you compare the Vespa experience to a Harley experience, it's not even a challenge. Now, I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm gonna tell you what I use this for, and of course, where the Harley wins. But at the end of the day, this is just a better riding experience on two wheels. Now, I am not a super hardcore motorcycle guy. I got my motorcycle license. I've owned 3 motorcycles, and I've gone on a few trips. I haven't ridden any longer than about 4 hours at one time. And I usually just like to ride around town. I don't like to go on these long distance adventures or anything like that. And it's important for you guys to know that because it's letting you know how I use my motorcycles. Literally, I just like to have the wind in my face. I like to enjoy the scenery, and I like to be on a motorcycle. Now, when I had my Harley, the biggest issue was the weight. Now, you could call me a weak guy or whatever. I could bench 225, so I'm not that weak. But when it comes to the weight of the Harley, it was over 700 pounds. I had a Softail 114, if I could remember, Heritage Softail. And the thing about it is just moving it around the garage, moving it around the driveway. And when I dropped it, because I dropped it by accident, all of it was just unmanageable. Like, it was just too heavy. I was not a fan. And the funny thing is that I've tried other motorcycles that were like in the 300-400 range, like the Indian Scout. I think it's around that range. And I enjoyed that. So that's when I started understanding that I enjoy a lightweight motorcycle or a lightweight thing on two wheels, because this is a scooter, not a motorcycle, or whatever you want to call it, right? This is a scooter. So the weight, by far, I can move this around. Like right now, before we made this video, we're like, let's just move it over here. So we just moved it real quickly. It wasn't a hassle. And that's the problem with the Harley. Another thing about the Harley is as far as the steering and the feel, the way that it moves and the way that it turns. Again, because it's a big bike, it's heavy. This is so much more nimble. And it's definitely more maneuverable because it's smaller, it weighs less. But if you think about it, weight class, the Vespa wins. As far as being able to move around, the Vespa wins. But where it wins, as far as for me, is how fun it is. It just makes you smile. Like when I was on a Harley, I smiled a couple of times, but most of the time I was processing things. Like I got to manage the weight. I got to be able to learn how to turn. You know, I've got to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Everything about even getting out to get gas was a situation with the Harley. And then when it comes to the Vespa, like this could go up to 85 miles per hour. And around town, like you're not going to be doing 85 miles per hour. And the Harley, even though it's faster than this, like you're not going to be doing those speeds in just traffic. That's just not going to make any sense. So that's one thing I like, is that you have enough power, you have enough acceleration for real life applications. And then the way people look at you. For some reason, Harleys or just motorcycles in general, people are not fans of you on the road. And I get that. Like, it's dangerous and people are always angry. But on a scooter, people just kind of, yeah, it's more of like kind of funny. It's like, you know, it's more chill. It's like, in my opinion, more Hawaiian kind of, you know, like islandy vibes, you know, or Italy, whatever you call it. I don't know if Italy is an island or whatever, but you just feel just more relaxed. And that's the thing. It's like you get to enjoy the experience so much more just being, you know, the way you sit. It's like you're sitting on the couch. It's got enough speed. It turns. And it's not that serious. Another thing, too, is when I had my Harley, because I bought it brand new, I rode it long enough that I needed to do the first service. And the first service was over $1,000. That was ridiculous, right? Just $1,000. I did the first service on this myself. Like the oil filter is easy to get to, the drain plug is easy to get to, the transmission, everything's really easy to get to. And even being an Italian, you know, thing, that says a lot, because usually Italians make things they make them complicated. But the Harley, oh no, like it was already making rattles, noises. And not only that, like the bike turned off on me. They had a recall, it had a bunch of issues. And of course the dealership was always just trying to pat me down. I just did not enjoy the Harley at all, and I didn't really have fun with it. The moment we got this is so much fun. And then not only that, Elise rides on this with me, and we have a complete blast. She tried to ride with me on the Heritage Classic, big old bike. We just didn't feel comfortable. Even though it was big bike, it just didn't feel fun. It wasn't comfortable. The bike didn't like it. I didn't like it. It wasn't fun at all. So at the end of the day, it's so cool that like while other people like street bikes and like to go fast, and maybe the Harley guys like to go cross country and do all their stuff, like when it comes to riding something with two wheels in the city, I think the Vespa, I think just scooters in general, just something that's just fun, that gets wind in your face, something that's not as serious, not as expensive, is the answer. And I think a lot of people overlook it because they're just trying to go to the next level. And I'm telling you guys, owning a Vespa or just driving a scooter that's capable, because of course this is a 300, you want to have that extra power, is, in my opinion, the best route. If you haven't tried a scooter, if you haven't tried to experience something like this, I recommend it. I can tell you right away, it's a better experience than my Harley Davidson.